Before going to South Africa, I didn't know much about the place. I've wanted to go ever since I was a kid because my godmother was from there, particularly from Johannesburg. So when I was doing my study abroad applications, I was looking for programs that mostly fit my major, which is psychology and communication. And one of the programs that I found listed was South Africa Service Learning. So before I thought I would go somewhere like Europe or somewhere like that where all of my friends went, but instead I decided to take a chance and sign up for South Africa because that's what was calling out to me at the time. So the service learning aspect really enticed me because my goal was to try and immerse myself as much as I could into the country's home culture. So I thought doing service learning would be a great way to dive right in. During the application process, I had to keep my eyes on the prize because it was a pretty long and arduous process. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to go in the end because of all the costs, but there were definitely a lot of financial options that were available for me and other students who may have needed extra funding to go abroad. So fortunately, I was able to get a scholarship from the SCU LEAD program, which I'm also in, and this allowed me to go study abroad in the first place and actually make my dreams into a reality. What helped me with the whole process of applying for study abroad was asking questions and meeting with different study abroad advisors as well as other professors who could also help you. It was really easy to just make an appointment, pop into the study abroad office, and to just get all of my questions answered. I also found that it's really important to pay attention to all the different requirements that your program has, because every single program has a different set of steps that you need to follow. So it's really important to make sure you're communicating clearly with your program advisors and any other figures that could help you, because my program had a lot of additional paperwork, so organizing them and keeping track of everything that you need to do will really help out, especially when you're going to apply for visas. That was a really complicated, but staying organized and making sure you write down all your due dates and like what you need made it the easiest it can get. But it was honestly really all worth it because I got to go to the program that I really wanted to attend in the first place. So the program that I specifically did was South Africa Service Learning, which is half learning at an institution and then half doing some sort of service within the community and working along with locals. And again, like I talked about a little bit before, this really enticed me and this was something that I really wanted to do to involve myself more within my country's home community. For my service learning portion, I volunteered at Christine Revelle Children's Home, and they house children from the ages of 0 to 5 years old, and I worked with the youngest age group, which was 0 to 2. So the kids at Christine Revelle were all refugees of various unsafe home environments who needed extra care. And so Christine Revelle takes in these children and feeds them, clothes them, so they kind of have a community and a safe place to grow up. So working here taught me a lot about gratitude and unconditional love, especially through the interactions that I had with the other volunteers and staff members, and of course, all the children who were so innocent and so sweet and lovable. They just stole my heart. Then for my learning portion, the university that I attended while I was studying abroad was the University of the Western Cape, or UWs.
Hey y'all, so we're here at UWs, first day of school, hella excited.
So during these various classes that I was taking here, I learned a lot about South Africa and a lot about psychology. There are a lot of things that were painful to learn about and talk about, but I found it very necessary, especially if you want to grow and have a more open mindset about everything. One of the biggest things that I learned about, which was terrible, was apartheid, which South Africa just came out of in 1995. So apartheid was this highly strict legal segregation of races within a world where we thought we made so much progress against racism and segregation and hateful laws. The information I obtained and inquired about in South Africa will forever affect the way that I think and choose to approach different situations. It's definitely taught me to think a lot more deeply about my surroundings and how I choose to interact with others and the ground that I'm walking on and the history behind it. My classmates at UW engaged in various different activities that showed their pride in who they were and what they believed in. Students held regular events and voiced themselves for different causes that they felt strongly about. One time, I joined a march on campus for women's rights, and it was very powerful. The other students that were in my program gave me a sense of family 10,000 miles away from home. There were about 15 of us that were from the US and a couple of my friends from Australia. These students and I all lived in a house together, the K house. So it was important to make sure that we could all live in harmony. We had to learn how to use all of our differences to the best of our abilities in order to make the most of our circumstances. We tried to apply ourselves where we best fit with our individual gifts that we brought to the table. We all shared once-in-a-lifetime experiences together and will for sure be reminiscing about these heartfelt memories to our children, grandchildren, and so forth. It was truly great to be able to reflect on daily experiences with the students in the K house where we lived to make more sense of what we were going through and what we were feeling. They all helped to make sure we were all having a good time while learning as much information as we could. All of these experiences were all things you don't easily forget, that was for sure. Study abroad is a great way to experience more learning in a completely different environment. I learned what it was like to be outside of the Santa Clara University bubble, to be in a new environment completely different from the one that I was used to. It's taught me to be a more in-tune human being instead of being solely caught up in my little bubble. There are so many amazing things that can be missed by not looking outside of your tunnel vision or your comfort zone. The world holds so much, so many different experiences, and there's everything still left to be learned. My advice for anyone listening is that if a program looks interesting to you, I would say to go for it and apply and just stick it out as much as you can throughout the whole process. It might be a little difficult and confusing at first, but I assure you there are a lot of people there to help you and to make sure that you apply perfectly and that you get to go abroad and have your individual life-changing experiences and make those memories that you will be passing on for generations. It really helped me to be open to all the new things that I was experiencing and learning that I was gonna be doing once I made it to my destination. That is what really kept me going, especially through the visa process. I am so glad that I chose to study abroad and decided to work through any possible obstacles that would have prevented me from going. Because if I hadn't have gone, I would not have the new knowledge and the outlook on life and open mindset that I have today. I encourage everyone watching this to take a chance and actually do something or all of the things that interest you, because you never know what you will find. Thank you.